using today's evolving and controversial standards. Even those who know better are left, like Winston Smith, to guess and wonder how many others like them are out there. How many of the unindoctrinated who don't buy the spin? There's certainly no way to find out by clicking on different internet articles or flipping among cable news channels. This giant purge of knowledge and facts wouldn't be possible without the news media. We in the media have, to a frightening degree, gotten on board with the efforts to convince the public that they do not need or deserve access to all information, only that which powerful interests see fit for them to have. Reporters are so aware of this that they have a name for it: the narrative. The phrase is used to describe what we caught others doing to try to shape the news. Now we're doing it ourselves. The narrative refers to a storyline that influential people want told in order to define and narrow your views. The goal of the narrative is to embed chosen ideas so deeply within society that they are no longer questioned. Scratch that, so that questions are not permitted. Slanted tells the story of what happens when reporters convince news consumers that the reporter's own opinions are more valuable than facts. With an information universe at our fingertips on the news and internet, and with propagandists working overtime to shape it, many people ask what they can believe. Journalists are more than happy to tell them. Unfortunately, the journalists are too often driven by propaganda as well. The goal of this book is to help you expose and defeat narratives, even when they're cleverly executed by the most powerful sources using the most sophisticated methods. It will also reveal how the business of narratives is inextricably linked to the death of the news as we once knew it. I will anatomize a series of narratives that have dominated even in the face of contradictory facts. Anyone accused of sexual harassment must be guilty if there are enough accusers, no matter how flimsy the claims may be. Donald Trump is too cowardly to visit the troops in a war zone. When mass shootings occur in certain cities, they must be called something else. Russia changed the outcome of the 2016 election. All new polling spells doom for Republicans, and many more. The point is that the narrative is guiding what facts you get to learn about. Facts that serve the narrative are deemed to be news. Facts that don't are not news, or are to be obliterated. Defining the narrative. To begin with, a narrative almost always presents multi-sided issues in a distinctly one-sided fashion. Any notion of logic is suspended. The standards and judgments applied to the target being smeared by a narrative are never applied to those advancing the narrative or their allies. For example, someone pushing a narrative might accuse his target of lying or being hateful or racist. At the same time, the one doing the accusing may be lying or acting in a hateful or racist way, but no attention is given to the hypocrisy. People simply pretend not to notice. You'll hear a lot of real-life examples in this book. You might think that a defining characteristic of a narrative is that it is false, but that's often not the case. Here are 3 ways in which truthful information can also qualify as narratives. First, when truthful information is deliberately presented in a biased fashion in order to confuse, drown out, or overwhelm other facts and to advance a particular goal. For example, it may be true that a mass killer used a gun, but news reports about the crime serve a narrative if they are overwhelmingly shaded to the exclusion of counterpoints in order to make an argument for gun control. Second, truthful information can qualify as a narrative when it is amplified beyond its independent news value in order to promote a broader storyline. For example, it may be true that former First Lady Hillary Clinton stumbled when descending a set of stairs. But news reports on such an incident serve a narrative if they become front-page headlines and a trending topic on social media to imply, absent other hard evidence, that Clinton's stumble proves she's seriously ill. And third, the truth can become a narrative when it is couched in terms that present an issue as a closed case never to be reopened or implies that contrary facts and views are illegitimate. For example, there may be good reason to discuss